to go backwards. That shows the limit right there.
Whoa! Oh my gosh!
Yep. Oh my gosh. Hold on. We got to do this. Yeah. Currently live.
Oh, fun!
Yes, you did.
Can you go to the proper one?
Right here, guys.
Do you know what?
Watch the camera there. Watch the camera.
No, I don't think I'm not giving the exact time. And even if I am, I don't look at them.
Of course I did. I wasn't talking to you. Well, I did. You got a headset too? Now he's just playing.
This one's ready.
Oh, hi guys.
I have a nice headset still. I actually got fun.
Hey,
Right there's fine. Right next to track. It's fine, leave it on my laptop. Have a seat.
Sorry.
You just need to fill in space. Okay, guys, you're going to have to slide this way a little bit, but be careful you don't pull the cords, okay? Guys, we got a full another class. Trent, I need you to scoot about that way. Ryan, scoot down. Katana, scoot down. Ryan, go a little bit from the trip. Katana towards Ryan. That whole middle row, there you go, guys. Thank you. Perfect. You guys, middle row.
Exactly, I'm not facing.
Good job. There you go. Vincent, scoot over, please. Keep scooting. Good job.
Fourth grade.
You don't have to put that.
Everybody give me 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thank you. Okay, I'm not going to use this for a minute. Right, so welcome to Why You Should Compost and Recycle. Some of the fifth graders that are in the stage are going to be talking to you guys today about the reasons that it's really important that we do things to take care of our earth. And so much of that can be done right here at Claymont. And so we're going to watch a couple of videos, and then we're going to practice what we would do in the lunchroom and get an idea of why it's important and how everybody can do a part to make it so much better and easier at Claymont. Okay, so I'm going to turn it over to you.
Okay, back. Don't move it.
This is Haven and Juliet from the Claymont marketing team. And today we have an interview with Mr. Leaders. Mr. Leaders is in charge of finance and energy usage throughout the entire district. So here is Mr. Leaders and Nick Cook during the interview.
Hi, Mr. Leaders. Welcome to Claymont. We really want to know what Claymont is already doing to help keep the environment from depleting and saving it. So what are we already doing to keep it?
Great things such as we have solar panels on our rooftops. We have changed out all of our light bulbs to LED, which use less energy and therefore create less emissions. We have made our heating and air conditionings more energy efficient. We do a wonderful program with recycling and composting. And so there's a lot of good things with waste that we're doing to try to keep our landfill waste down as much as possible.
All right, thank you. What are
doing great. I'm really proud of the schools in Parkway. I think there's a lot of active interest in trying to make it as green as possible. But I always think there's always room for improvement. No matter what school, no matter what organization, there's always room to do better. So I think trying to be more mindful over our waste. So for instance, like we're doing a great job with recycling and composting in our lunchroom. Perhaps we might be able to make sure that when people are bringing their lunch, encourage them to bring reusables.
And we've got one more question. What are some things that Claymont can gain and rewards from different companies and things like that we could get for being energy efficient?
Yeah, so there's a lot of great programs. So the Department of Energy has an Energy Star Award. You might notice that electronics that you and your families purchase have a little Energy Star logo on it. They also certify buildings. So becoming Energy Star certified is something several Parkway schools have done, and I hope Claymont will be able to do in the future. Green Schools Quest is a great program that Claymont's participating in. It's a project and trying to make the school more green. I hope the school is able to win that award, as well as the Green Ribbon Schools Award. We have 4 Parkway schools now that are Green Ribbon schools, and I really hope Claymont will be the next.
All right, thank you. We really enjoyed this.
Yeah, thank you so much.
We hope we can keep doing things like this.
Sounds great.
Hi, this is Haven and Juliet from the
Trash. When you put something into the trash, it is then taken to a landfill where it is left there to sit forever, or be taken to a barge and dumped into the ocean where it just wipes out animals.
It's important to recycle because it helps reduce trash levels and it reduces things that we throw away, such as paper, plastic, and some metals.
Composting. Composting is really important to our earth because compost helps our soil have better nutrients, and that will help our plants grow better. Compost also helps our soil hold water, which will eventually save water. Compost also protects some things like roots from damage from the sun and the wind. This is a short video about compost.
Oh, stay. Go back. Stay.
finish it, try to refill it and use it again. But if you can't do that, at least throw it in the recycling bin. And you can also reuse things like cardboard boxes and the back of used papers.
Recycling. The order of the 3 R's is actually very important. First, you should see if you can reduce it or make less of it. Then you should see if you can reuse it, make it into something new, and finally you should recycle it. When you recycle something, it goes to a recycling plant, where it is taken to be made into new plastic and new materials.
I love cheese and crackers. What do you guys have for lunch?
I have a ham and cheese sandwich and a plastic water bottle. I have school lunch. Me too. I have some Cheez-Its and an apple.
My mom got me Subway and chocolate milk.
What do you want for lunch, Bill? Oh look, lunch is almost over. Oh yeah, get ready everybody.
You guys want to play kickball?
Yeah!
You guys are dismissed. Throw your trash away and put it in the correct bins. All right, come on, let's go. Wait a minute! I forgot where all my trash goes.
I don't remember either.
So we decided to put together a little game. So here at Parkway, we just got some new compostable materials. So we're going to hold up the materials, and if you want to show us where it goes, you can raise your hand, then come up and show me where it goes.
Where would this Capri Sun go? Obviously the trash can.
Very good. If there's any liquid in it, where would the liquid go?
Bam.
Right? Yeah.
Where would this plastic water bottle go? So there's water in it. Yeah, water in it. There's water in it.
I'm going to reuse it for another class. You can put the water in the compost.
I have an uneaten apple. What would I do with that?
Uneaten apple. Go on. No, if anybody doesn't want it, where does it go, Claymont? Before you drop it, where does it go, Claymont, if you have something that's uneaten?
Here.
Uneaten.
Just put it in.
Yep. So that's something new this year at Claymont, both for lunch and breakfast. If there's a bin that looks like this, and if you have anything that is unopened and uneaten, it can go in here, and then you can help other students, or if you want some extra food, you can always see what's in it.
Okay. A bag of pretzels.
Try. You can open them. Perfect. So that was a two-step one. Very good. So food goes in here, and plastic bags, they're super confusing because you would think, well, they're plastic. We should be able to recycle them. But actually, plastic bags have to be thrown away. Sometimes grocery stores will recollect their grocery bags, but plastic bags cannot go in your recycling, even at your house.
This is kind of a tricky one. Where would this spoon go?
Simon. read the spoon. Read the spoon before we make a decision. Read it. Fine print. Read. There's something on the spoon that's going to give you a clue. What does it say? Very good.
Compost? Yes, someone asked why we got new spoons. Someone asked why we got new spoons. The reason we got new spoons is so that we could add less to landfills and so that we could add into even more compostable material.
So right now, the forks in the cafeteria for you guys are not compostable. So we have to, food services having us go through all of the plastic first. We withdrew all of our plastic spoons, and so now we have compostable spoons from Parkway. Our forks are still plastic in the cafeteria. So the spoons go in compost right now, the forks go in the trash, but pretty soon they're all going to look, and they're a little bit bigger and they look a little bit different. You guys will be able to tell when the forks are compostable.
Okay, where would this tray go?
Fran?
Claymont.
Very good.
Does everyone know where these go at the end of the day?
Tia? You just want to say it, hun. Where did they go?
Yeah.
So the trays are compostable, and the reason that we wait to put them in at the end of the day, so Mr. Long at the end of the day will take the stack of all of the trays, and then he'll put them in here. The reason that they don't go in there throughout the lunch periods is they kind of like stack all sideways and mismatch, and then it doesn't all fit. So we stack them, so then at the end of the day we can just put them all in here. So we're really fortunate in Parkway that we have so many materials that we can compost. So we can compost our trays. The red and white bows are compostable. School napkins are also compostable. If you bring napkins from home, they're not. But our school napkins are, and our spoons and forks can all go in compost.
Makes sense.
Things that should go in the compost include unfinished food from lunch. So if you didn't finish, like if you have a full apple would go in the share table, but if you ate like half of it, then you would put it in the compost because obviously nobody else wants to eat your half-eaten apple. And spoons, forks will be compostable. Red and white boats, napkins, and trays are all compostable, but trays always go here at the end of the day on the other side table. Over here because they just take up too much room in the compost bin.
Some of the things that should go in the recycling bin are plastic bottles, paper products, cans, empty milk cartons, paper, and more. Make sure you remove any food from the recyclable material.
Landfills. When you don't recycle things, they go to the landfill. That's bad for the environment because then we have to make more of something and that causes pollution. And then after that, they will go into the ocean.
Solid waste, garbage, trash. Whatever you call it, you throw away 4.5 pounds of it a day. Now think about your neighborhood. Say you have at least 20 neighbors. Altogether, they're throwing away 90 pounds of trash a day and 630 pounds of trash a week. 363,369 people in Manatee County. That's 1,635,160.5 pounds of trash a day. If just one county produces over 1 million pounds of trash, how much do you think the rest of the world produces? Think of all the neighborhoods, businesses, your favorite restaurant or place to shop. They're all producing trash. So let's find out, where does our garbage go?
Well, it begins with the trucks going out into the residential neighborhoods to collect the garbage, solid waste, which we refer to as solid waste, yard waste, and recyclables. These garbage guys are picking up, 2,000 homes per day. And everybody thinks they're the only one maybe, but after having to collect that many residents, it makes it much easier for them. If it's bagged properly, canned properly, make sure it doesn't weigh more than 50 pounds. The truck then, when it reaches its full capacity, comes to the landfill. At the landfill, the trucks are then weighed. Once they're weighed in with their full load, then they dispose of that load at the top of the hill. And then they, again, turn around and come back over the scale where we weigh them with an empty load. And then we figure out the tonnage.
In 2015, 301,000 tons of garbage was buried at the Lena Road landfill. Our landfill won't last forever. After phase 3 is full, we only have one more area left to bury something we produce on a daily basis.
Right now, I think we have a life expectancy of 30 plus years. If we can maintain that by proper disposal methods and utilizing the recycling, we can keep the costs down with the garbage as well as maintaining the shelf life out here.
And the more people or residents and or businesses recycle, it prolongs the shelf life of the landfill by sorting the recyclable materials out rather than taking up valuable space in the landfill.
Recycling is the only way we can extend the life of our landfill. Our recycling center has areas to house everything from appliances, scrap metal, tires, and electronics to household hazardous waste that can contaminate the landfill if it's buried. We also recycle all the yard waste we pick up weekly.
Well, you can imagine all this stuff getting buried on top of that hill. Probably from the time we started this till now, that third phase of the hill would already be done and we'd be working on the next phase. We only have one more phase of the landfill.
So the Lena Road landfill is where your garbage goes today. How long it has left depends on what you are throwing away.
Upcycling. Does anybody have any idea what upcycling is? Reusing what? Never mind.
Reusing what's composted.
It's a good idea.
Using recyclable stuff and maybe making it into something of your own instead of sticking it in the recycle bin after you make something of your own as many times as possible. Then you recycle.
Those are great ideas. Upcycling is actually when you turn trash into something usable. So you did milk carton monsters, right? Have you guys already done that with your friends? Yeah. We have been collecting milk cartons so you can turn it into something that you would actually keep for a longer time, or your buddy would keep, or something like that. So it would just go to, even though, like, you can have recyclables, but even though milk carton's recyclable, it's better if you have less of it because it doesn't take up more space. What can you upcycle?
You could probably upcycle like cans and other stuff to not waste space. Maybe milk jug.
Anything. In fact, here are some things that you can upcycle. So maybe you guys could upcycle something or trash at your house.
Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit about some research that we did last year at the end of the year, and really the reason that we're coming here to talk to you guys today. So last year you may or may not have seen or remembered, but we were digging through the trash one whole afternoon. People were coming in and out from recess when we were in the courtyard. And it was taco salad day. It was pretty gross. So what the 5th graders did was we went through every single trash can that was in the cafeteria that day. And we went through the compost. And we weighed how much it started with, and then we sorted it. How much material should not have been in there, like plastics or milk cartons. And we resorted everything. And we did the same thing with the recycling. So we weighed how much recycling we had, and then we took out the things that should have gone in the compost. We took out the things that should have been in the trash. And we did the same thing with the trash. And we found a lot of stuff that should be composted and a lot of stuff that could have been recycled in the trash. So we put it all together. We found out that in one day at Claymont, 74% of the things that you throw away are actually compostable. So that's any food scraps, that would be your trays, your boats, napkins, and at that time, the spoons were not compostable. 17% could be recycled, so that's your milk cartons, your water bottles, the plastic cups for like applesauce or like peaches, all recyclable. Less than 10%, 9% of what we have at Claymont goes to the landfill. So this is what one day at lunch looked like at Claymont. This isn't taking into account for your classrooms or anything else. So we have the potential to be an amazing school that is doing so much good for the earth. 9% trash, that's pretty good. That's what we should aim to be for, because we have the potential to compost and recycle that much. In your classrooms, you guys can start making some changes. So I've already heard from one teacher who had an idea about making some changes in their classroom. It's a 3rd grade teacher. And you have recycling bins in your classroom. A lot of you eat breakfast here. You could start taking your milk carton or your juice carton, and instead of throwing it away, you could start recycling it. Because we have special recycling containers that are called single stream, so you can put everything in there. You don't have to separate it. Maybe you want to come up with a plan in your classroom of what you want to do with your trays, because they don't really need to go in the trash. That might be something you guys talk about when you get back. How can we be better stewards of our environment? What can we do to take better care of our environment if we know that this can actually be composted, put back into the earth, and we don't need to take up space in a landfill? Okay. So this is the data that we had at the end of last year of what Claymont's potential is. It's not what we were actually doing, but this is our potential, that we can be this amazing. And in the first video, Mr. Leaders talked about some awards that the school can win. And so we can look for those, because you guys have seen at lunch, some of the adults like use these. Yeah, we use these grabbers because people put wrong things in here, either out of laziness or on accident, maybe on purpose, hopefully not on purpose. But if we take something, if the recycling bin has things that aren't recyclable in it, they might not take any of it. And then all of the work that so many people did, if there's some stuff in there that isn't recyclable, then they're like, well, we don't know if we can trust everything, and they throw it away. But the same thing with the compost. So we get tickets if things aren't sorted right. So that's why grown-ups are in there kind of double checking everything. But now after today, you guys know, we're going to be counting on you guys to do the right thing. Okay.
Did you say?
So always remember to, 1, throw your trash in the correct bins. 2, reduce the amount of trash that you're putting out. If you don't have to put out so much trash, don't do it. Try and, like step 1, just throw your trash in the correct bins. 3, reuse. You should always try and reuse what you can. If you have a plastic water bottle, then don't recycle it first. You should try and reuse it. And 4, if you can't reuse or reduce it, then recycle it. And 5, stay green.
credits. Mrs. Leary for organizing pit time and helping us the whole way through. Mrs. LaPiccolo for letting us use her room. Mrs. Weisenborn and Mr. Mickle for letting us create a pit assembly for the school to see and helping us find ideas. Mr. Wall, Mrs. Holland, Mrs. Scott, Mrs. Sissel for being a part of the video. Mr. Borgman for helping us in filming, editing, and uploading.
So hopefully at the end of today you can take these into mind, upcycle at home. If you're not already doing it, maybe recycle at home, or if you have a garden at home, you could compost. So please take these into mind. Thank you.
Thank you for listening, and remember to stay green.